Have you ever been told that being selfish is a bad thing, that you should always put others before yourself, give until it hurts, and never think about your own needs? Well, today we're flipping that script. What if I told you that being selfish, yes, selfish, can actually be better than being selfless? Now, before you jump to conclusions, let's make one thing clear. I'm not talking about the kind of selfishness where you disregard other people's feelings or become a narcissist. What I'm talking about is a healthy form of selfishness that allows you to prioritize your own well-being, set boundaries, and ultimately show up as the best version of yourself. Because here's the thing, if you're constantly giving to others and never taking care of yourself, you're not doing anyone any favors. By the end of this video, you'll understand why embracing a little bit of selfishness can actually lead to better relationships, more personal fulfillment, and a healthier, happier life. Let's dive in. Why being selfless can be dangerous. We've all heard that it's noble to be selfless, to put others before yourself, and to always be giving. But here's the problem with that. When you're always selfless, you end up neglecting your own needs. You give and give and give until there's nothing left for yourself. And what happens then? You burn out. You get resentful. You feel like you're running on empty, but you keep going because you've been taught that this is what good people do. But let me ask you this. How can you pour from an empty cup? The truth is, if you're constantly putting others first at the expense of your own well-being, you're not being noble. You're being self-destructive. You're sacrificing your own happiness, health, and peace of mind, and that's not sustainable in the long run. When you don't prioritize yourself, you end up giving less to the people who need you most. Whether it's your family, your friends, or your work, the quality of what you offer diminishes because you're running on fumes. Selflessness can lead to burnout, and burnout leads to breakdown. So instead of trying to be everything to everyone, it's time to embrace the power of selfishness in a healthy way. The importance of self-care. Now let's talk about what I mean by being selfish. I'm not saying you should be greedy or inconsiderate of others' needs. What I'm talking about is making self-care a priority in your life. In other words, putting your mental, emotional, and physical health at the top of your list. When you prioritize self-care, you're able to recharge and show up fully in all areas of your life. Think of it like this. If you don't take care of your body, how can you expect to have the energy to take care of others? If you don't manage your stress, how can you maintain meaningful relationships? Self-care is not a luxury, it's a necessity. When you start being selfish in this way, you'll notice that you have more to give. You'll be more present in your relationships, more productive at work, and more energized to pursue your goals. You'll be operating from a place of abundance rather than depletion. It's a simple concept, but one that so many people overlook because they feel guilty for putting themselves first. But here's the reality. Taking care of yourself is one of the most selfless things you can do. When you're at your best, you can give your best to the world. Setting boundaries, why no is a powerful word. Another aspect of healthy selfishness is learning how to say no. How many times have you agreed to do something for someone else even though you didn't have the time, energy, or desire to do it? How often have you felt guilty for turning someone down because you didn't want to seem selfish or unkind? But here's the truth. Saying no is one of the most powerful things you can do for your well-being. When you say no, you're setting boundaries. You're telling the world that your time, energy, and resources are valuable, and you're not going to give them away freely without considering your own needs. Setting boundaries doesn't mean you're uncaring. It means you're respecting yourself. When you overextend yourself by always saying yes, you end up overwhelmed and resentful. And guess what? That resentment spills over into your relationships, making you less kind, less patient, and less effective in helping others. By contrast, when you say no to things that drain you, you're able to say yes to the things that truly matter. You're able to show up fully for the people and projects that align with your values and priorities. Being selfish with your time and energy ensures that you have enough left for the things that truly matter. Selfishness as self-preservation. There's a fine line between healthy selfishness and selflessness that many people are afraid to cross. Society has conditioned us to believe that thinking about our own needs first is wrong. But the truth is, selfishness is a form of self-preservation. It's about protecting your mental and emotional health. Think about it. If you don't protect your own boundaries, if you don't take time for yourself, who will? People who are constantly selfless often end up in toxic situations where others take advantage of their kindness. They say yes to every request, solve everyone else's problems, and put their needs last. The result? They get used, manipulated, or worn down by life. Being selfish is about knowing when to step back and say, I need time for me. It's about recognizing that your happiness and well-being are just as important as anyone else's. If you're not looking out for yourself, no one else is going to do it for you. This doesn't mean you stop caring about others or become self-centered. It means you create a balance where you can give to others without neglecting yourself. It means you prioritize your own needs so that you can thrive and be there for others in a way that's healthy and sustainable. The balance between selfishness and selflessness. At this point, you might be wondering, can I be both selfish and selfless? The answer is absolutely. The key is finding a balance. Being selfish doesn't mean you stop caring about others. It means you stop sacrificing your well-being for others. Think of it like this. You're on an airplane and the oxygen masks drop. What's the first thing they tell you to do? Put on your own mask before helping others. Why? Because if you're not able to breathe, you're not going to be able to help anyone else. The same principle applies to life. You have to take care of yourself before you can take care of anyone else. But from a place of fullness, not from a place of depletion. You're able to show up for others, but without sacrificing your own needs. You can care deeply about the people around you while still making sure that your own needs are being met. How being selfish improves your relationships. Believe it or not, being selfish can actually improve your relationships. When you're constantly selfless, you might think you're doing others a favor by always being available, but you're actually doing the opposite. When you neglect yourself, you start to feel drained, and that leads to resentment. And guess who you take that resentment out on? The very people you're trying to help. On the other hand, when you take time for yourself, whether it's through self-care, setting boundaries, or pursuing your own interests, you come back to your relationships refreshed. You're able to be more present, more patient, and more loving because you're not running on empty. Think about it. When was the last time you took a break and came back feeling recharged? You probably felt more engaged and connected with the people around you. That's the power of healthy selfishness. It allows you to fill your own cup so that you have more to give to others. Embrace the power of being selfish. So, is being selfish better than being selfless? In many ways, yes. But it's not about choosing one over the other. It's about redefining what selfishness means. Being selfish isn't about putting yourself above others or ignoring their needs. It's about recognizing that your own needs are just as important and that you can't truly serve others if you're not taking care of yourself first. When you start prioritizing your own well-being, you'll find that you have more energy, more focus, and more love to give. You'll create healthier relationships and live a more balanced, fulfilling life. So, the next time someone calls you selfish, take it as a compliment. Because being selfish, when done right, means you're taking charge of your life, protecting your well-being, and showing up as the best version of yourself. And in the end, that's the most selfless thing you can do.